Welcome back, Flare community. Happy Thursday. I hope you're all well and having an incredible day as always. And yes, it's been a pretty busy week. FLR has been taking off, so has Songbird, as well as the broader crypto market, which is always good news. I think we're seeing a lot of traction here with the Flare network. I mean, over the past couple of weeks especially, I've noticed a big uptick in, I guess, exposure from different communities, and it's a great thing to see. But you know what time it is. It's time for the weekly news update, when we're going to go through everything that's significant that's been happening on the Songbird and Flare network. And of course, we're going to start, as we normally do, over here looking at the signal provider statistics. And this is for the Flare time series Oracle. This one's actually the Flare Labs built monitor here. So we're mixing things up a little bit. This is FTSO monitor. And topping the charts this week, we have Nordso. In second place, we have Use Your Spark. In third place, we have Flare.space. Fourth place, Evolve FTSO. And in fifth place, we have Flare Oracle. So looking pretty good. Congratulations to all the signal providers making it into the top 5 this week. And of course, we're going to look over on Sparkles here and check out the top performing NFT collections. Let me just give that a quick refresh. And if we scroll down here, of course, no surprise here, Blockbones topping the chart. It's been the top for the past almost 90 days, I believe. In second place, we have Poodle Friend Islands. In third place, we have the Fat Cats. In fourth place, we have the Super Bad Monsters. And in fifth place, a new collection, which is the Blockbones Traits. And I'm going to talk a little bit, and also live now, that if you do want to participate in, you certainly can do so. So this particular proposal, we've got STP 06 and 02. These pertain to the FTSO scaling and Flare system protocol support. And this is to do with expanding the FTSO's ability to support prices by allowing up to 1,000, I believe. And I think that's the end goal, but I think it's going to gradually increase over time. And you can read all about the proposals here, proposals.flare.network. And if you want to vote, you can go to portal.flare.network/voting. The other proposal here is to calibrate the state connector for F-Assets launch on Songbird. So it looks like things are certainly heating up. I know F-Assets are probably the most anticipated thing for the Flare network. I'm particularly interested in both F-Assets and Layer Cake. I think both have some incredible use cases. And yeah, it looks like we're getting one step closer to that. Also from Flare Labs, this is the entity that are actually building the protocols for the Flare network. They say F-Assets is a trustless system unlocking DeFi for Bitcoin, XRP, and Dogecoin. As you know, these particular assets don't have smart contract functionality native to their chain. And this is why F-Assets is such an attractive proposal for anyone that's holding these. Finally, they'll be able to utilize their assets in DeFi, for example, and start earning and putting them to use rather than just them remaining stagnant in their wallets. Flare Labs goes on to say, powered by Flare's oracles, F-Assets inherits the security and decentralization of the Flare blockchain, delivering a reliable cross-chain experience. And this is the really important thing here, that they inherit the decentralization within the bridge. This is not a traditional bridging model. This is something that's never been done. This is why I'm in Flare, because they're on the cutting edge of this technology. And I guess something to note here, actually, this is Moncho asking about Nano. And I replied to him here talking about something else that is very important regarding fassets. The beautiful thing about fassets is that there is no need for reliance on the source chain. There's no need to change it in any way. There are some bridges where they actually require code changes on the native change, but with the Flare network, that is not necessary, which means that Flare can theoretically add any assets to their bridging protocol, fassets. So that's something very interesting to take note of, and I thought I'd give you a gentle reminder there too. Here we go. Flare's earliest investors have reinvested in the long-term future of the network in a groundbreaking new agreement. And this really cannot go understated. This is really powerful stuff, and it highlights the belief of the investors in the Flare network. In addition to extending token vesting and capping sales, they will reinvest 50% of any token sales back into the Flare ecosystem projects. That's pretty much a game changer, you know, and we can get a little bit more of a deeper explanation on this here. So there is an extended token vesting. Early investors have voluntarily extended their vesting period to Q1 of 2026. And I believe this coincides when the Flare drops actually end. This eases market pressure and encourages long-term network participation and alignment. They also have a FLR selling limit, so that sort of reduces the volatile, and that's at a 0.5% of the daily volume based on the historical 30-day volume. So again, providing clarity and reducing market volatility. Third, we have the FLR ecosystem investment, where they're going to be using 50% of all profits from the investor group to reinvest in DeFi, TVL, which is total value locked, and liquidity provision. So this overall is just a great announcement for the broader Flare community. It's all good news. And this is the fourth and final point here, accountability. The investor groups agreed a full programmatic monitoring and accountability for adhering to their mission and commitments. So it's going to be under the microscope here via a program just to ensure that everything is as agreed. And yes, I'm very actually happy to read this. And if you want to read it more, you can go to the flare.network site, and they have all of these articles here where you can read in detail. I'm obviously not going to do it now on the live stream because this is a quick wrap up, but I would highly encourage anyone that's interested to give it a quick read. Next week, Tuesday, I believe, there is going to be another eco seed. I'm going to get into all of this on Tuesday, so I hope you can make it. It's over here on X. I'm sure if you just go to the Flare Network's official Twitter account, you'd be very hard or unlucky to miss it. Again, this is XDeFi, and as I said, the first compliant decentralized futures protocol. This is another article that you can find on the Flare Network's website, and if we scroll down to the bottom, you know, this is a great read, and you know, this entity here, Syndric Solutions, you can see here that this last little bit is something that really impressed me. Syndric Solutions have spent a quarter of a century building the world's largest trading engines for firms like Merrill Lynch, Fidelity, Goldman Sachs, and Morgan Stanley. So, you know, it's not like they're new to the space. This is not their first rodeo, and it seems like they're really quite a top-tier development team, and I'm looking forward to XDeFi launching on the Flare network in the very near future. We have Josh here from the Flare team, and he was saying, or reminding us, that there are now 20 million blocks that have been created on the Flare network and 64 million transactions. It's quite an impressive statistic, and yeah, I think the only way is up, right? Flare released a calendar. If you're about anywhere in the world, really, it looks like all of these are very well spread around the planet. I think they just come back from Denver, which happened on the 28th. That was yesterday. That's a really big event for Ethereum and anything EVM related. And you've got all of these events that are happening all across the world. Oxford, London, Dubai, Brussels, Singapore, and Bangkok. Yeah, be sure to check them out if you're in the vicinity. I'd like to meet some of the Flare team myself one day, and hopefully I can do it. Maybe we can make it to one of these in this year, so we'll see what happens. FYEO, these are actually a very reputable Web3 security auditors. So they're auditing, all of the Flare smart contracts. And obviously, with the Flare network going through so many changes and so many new protocols, FYEO actually iterates through the smart contracts and make sure that everything is working as expected and there's no security vulnerabilities there. And they've just completed another round. And yeah, it seems like things are going good, which is always reassuring, right? Moving on to things outside of the Flare Foundation news, we've got this here from Uppercent, and they actually are planning to release 750 access passes, NFTs, for their first course. And it was due today, but that didn't happen. There's going to be a slight delay. But if you are interested in Uppercent, they're bringing education to the Flare network in the form of NFTs, in the form of courses. And what's really special is that it allows you to have the ability to resell the courses once you've finished, right? So again, very powerful stuff. And if you're not following Uppercent, I'd highly recommend doing so because it's one of the most unique projects, I think, on the network and even still actually in the broader cryptocurrency ecosystem. As mentioned, there was a slight delay. So if you are planning to get on this course or purchase it, you want to be looking at this time here, 4 p.m. tomorrow, and that's in the GMT time zone. They're going to release a URL, a link to a website, and give you more updates when that time hits. So keep your eyes on Uppercent if that's what you're planning to do. Blockbones becomes the #1 NFT collection on the Flare network of all time, despite just launching 3 months ago. I'm very humbled by this, and it's been a roller coaster of a ride. This project has been something that I've been working on for a very long time now, and to make it to #1 and overtaking many great collections along the way, it really is humbling. You know, I think we've come a long way, but there's a lot more to look forward to. And I think the big news from this collection was really the launch of the trade store. And the whole idea behind Blockbones is that it brings power back to the holders, where you can create an NFT that you really want, right? Instead of getting what you're given, you have the idea or the ability to customize your trait in any way you see fit. And this is the blockchain store. A lot of these sold out very fast, but there are still some available. If you scroll down here, you can still see some which are available at the floor price. There are some trading, some of the rarer NFTs that have sold out over on Sparkles, but I think the main thing that I was proud of here was developing this and releasing this to the community, and it is the dressing room where you can really preview the NFTs that you may want to purchase in the future. And this is, I guess, halfway to what the Fusion Room will be, where you'll have a list of all of your NFTs here, all of your traits, and you can sort of pick which one you want and then sort of etch it into your Blockbones NFT, right? This is just a preview at the minute, but I'm expecting Fusion to go live within the next 2 months. Big shout out to the Phoenix project with some light updates here for Feather Swap. I did ask Indy if that was an intentional pun with the light and the feather. He said it wasn't, but who knows. But here's some stats for you for the project itself. 1.5 million in sales since launch, 155,000 Songbird in secondary sales royalties generated and distributed to the holders. There's 124,000 SGB distributed to holders to date. And this is where things would get really exciting for me. So it's the deflationary aspects that these NFTs create. We've got 15,500 SGB burnt and 6.3 thousand WSGB burnt too. But some of their previous projects have burnt a lot more in terms of the Phoenix coin, and they're really adding quite a significant deflationary pressure to both Songbird and the Flare network too. So stay tuned for that. Keeping my eye on this project, and the founder is a really humble guy. Definitely worth checking out if you haven't already, at Phoenix PHX Project FLR. Sorry. We have this as well from NFT Clash. They're rounding up the troops. So if you are a holder of a Sparkton NFT on the Songbird network, you can participate in the NFT Clash and win some SGB. This is really important to allow the developers to analyze what's happening and maybe make some tweaks before it goes live and public to the masses. So if you are holding a Sparkton NFT, feel free to check out NFT Clash game over on X and get involved with their game. Yeah, why not? Finally, this is just a bit of a warning here, and obviously we've seen quite significant price action in the market recently, and my advice for anyone in the space is to learn how to use a DEX, or a decentralized exchange. Yesterday, Coinbase actually ceased trades due to the volume of trades, or the amount of traffic going to their website, and this really hits home. If you've never experienced a bull market, this is just a small drop in the ocean, because you'll see some of the biggest exchanges, whether that's Binance, BitMEX, Uphold, they all go down at the point where of points of euphoria, or the point of capitulation. And these are the points where you want to be buying or selling, really, right? The most opportune moments. And a lot of these centralized exchanges can't actually meet the demand. They can't scale quick enough to satisfy this surge of demand. So my advice is to always learn how to use a decentralized exchange, because that way you will always have an option, right? So whether Adapt to Trade, or even a native decentralized exchange like the XRP Ledger, you should definitely learn, because these decentralized exchanges don't rely on one server for the centralized entity. It's actually the volume and the decentralization aspect of it means that you're relying on the underlying infrastructure of the network itself. If the network can still continue to process transactions, you're still going to be able to trade. So just a bit of a warning, or a bit of a heads up, because you never know where things are going. It looks like the market's doing very well at the minute, and yeah, maybe bright days are ahead for us. I wouldn't like to guess it, but I'm certainly hopeful. So that pretty much wraps up this week's news. If you are a Patreon member, we are having a Patreon exclusive chinwag over in the Flare Community Discord. All you have to do is come right down to the bottom here and jump in the Patreon call. Next week, of course, we'll be resuming the normal community chinwags. It's only the last Thursday of every month where it's the Patreon exclusive. So I really hope you can make it there. And if you can't, have yourself a great weekend. I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe on your way out. And until next time, I'm out.